Hi everyone, I, Prabhu Singh, student of Srimati Anju Kaushal, welcome you on your channel True Respect. In this video, we will talk about object-oriented programming and I will share the notes that are made by Apni Kaksha by Aman Datrawal. Why After learning the object-oriented programming from these notes, you will be able to crack any placement or you will able to crack any college exam. So if you are preparing for object-oriented or your college exam, then these notes are very beneficial for you. So now start the video. So what is object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming is a technique to design a program using the concept of class and object. And object-oriented programming is in Java or C++. And if you want to know about class is a user-defined data type like your array, stack, queue, linked list, but this is the user defined and you defined your own characteristics in a class and it is a logical representation of data. This is the syntax for class. For example, if you want to make the class for student or a data structure for student which can store the data of a student like mobile number, their name, their marks, and for example, first we will write the class keyword, then student name of the class, then there are three keywords, one is public, private or protected. If you want the data is public, then you use public, otherwise you will use private. If you want no one can see your data. So these are the member functions of our class of a class. Class contains two things. One is your data members and second is your member functions. Then next is object. Object is the instance of a class. Instance of a class means you can access the data members or the data member functions of a class by using object, and you can use here dot operator or you can create a quick object like class name, then object name, and then simply write new keyword and then make a constructor. Then next is inheritance. Inheritance means to create something from the existing something, and in inheritance there are two things. One is your parent class and next thing is derived class. You can derive someone from the parent's class or by using inheritance you can extend or modify your code, your attributes, your data members and behavior of the class. And this is the syntax how to create a derived class. And for example, class, then your name of the derived class, then visibility means public, private or protected, then the name of the base class. Then the types of inheritance. There are 5 types of inheritance. One is single, then multiple, then hierarchical, then multi-level, then hybrid. In a single inheritance, you can create only class from your parent class. And next is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance is the process of deriving a new class that inherits the attribute from two or more classes. For example, you can create a class from the base class. Then again you create a class from the derived class that you create from a existing class. Then is hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance means when you derive more than one class from a single class. Then is multi-level. Multi-level inheritance is the process of deriving a class from one another derived class. Then is hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance means combination of any combination of single inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Then next thing is encapsulation. Encapsulation means for example, you can take the concept of a capsule. When you say your data is not directly accessible by anyone, for example, if you can take the example of capsule, you only know about the body of the capsule. You never know what inside, what are the chemicals inside the capsule. This is the concept of encapsulation. Encapsulation means data hiding. You will hide the data from the users. You only want a user only access the some numbers, but never know how the data members are work. Then next thing is abstraction. By using abstraction, we try to obtain an abstract view, model or structure layer. When you want a user never access the unsensitive details, then you use data abstraction. Data abstraction means data hiding. Then the next thing is data winding. Data winding is to wind the data members and data function in a single unit, and it is the application of UI. Next thing is polymorphism. Polymorphism means when something plays a different role in different situation. For example, if you can take the example of plus, if you can apply the plus on integers, it can add the two numbers. But if you can apply your plus operate on string, then it combines the two strings. Precisely, poly means many and morphism means form. When a single thing performs multiple actions, then you can say polymorphism. And it is of two types. One is runtime and second is compile time. This is the example of polymorphism. You can read while you are on. Then next thing is constructor. Constructor is a special method which is invoked automatically at the time of object creation. Constructors are made for the memory creation, or you can create a memory location for your object. And these are the types of constructor. This is the sample code for the constructor. Then is destructor. A destructor works opposite to constructor. It destructs the object of class. You can use a destructor to reallocate or deallocate the memory of the object. And the next thing, this pointer plays a very vital role in the object oriented programming, and you can use this pointer by using this keyboard. And this is the syntax of this pointer. Then is a friend function. Friend function acts as a friend of the class. It can access the private and protected member of the class. For example, if you can, there is a data in the class that is public or private. You never access it directly. If you want to access it, the data of the class, then you have to create a friend function, and this friend function helps you to access the public or private data of the class. And this is the syntax or example of how to create a friend function. Then is aggregation. It is a process in which one class defines another class as any entity reference. It is another way to reuse the class. It is a form of association that represents the hash relations. Then is a virtual function. A virtual function is a member function which is present in the base class and redefined by the derived class. You can declare a function virtual by writing a virtual keyword in front of the function name. By making the base class pointer to point to different objects, we can execute different versions of the virtual function. And these are the key points for the virtual function. Virtual function cannot be static. A class may have a virtual destructor but cannot have a virtual constructor. This is the function or a program how to create a virtual function. And these are the pure virtual, you can write it by pure virtual functions. Then say your abstract classes. Then in namespaces. This is not very important in your exam. Again, access specifier. This is very important. Access specifiers are like your private, public, and protected keyword. Private means when you declare your member functions and your variables private, no one can access it. You can only access the data within the class. Public functions are the functions or the data members which are accessed by anywhere. You can access the data through out of the class. These are the keynotes. You can read it by your own. So this is all about object-oriented programming, and I will share the link of document in the description box. So please, if you have any query, then write in the comment box. Thank you and have a nice day.